Hey guys, welcome back to my new video. And in this video, we are going to discuss a very important and very, we can say, very interesting topic, that is event sourcing. So, have you just ever imagined, like, what if I told you that your banking app isn't just storing your current balance, but keeping a full history of every deposit, withdrawal, and correction ever made? So, have you ever thought about this question ever before making any transaction? If you haven't, just give a pause to this video and just think about it. So what happens whenever you make any transaction to your bank account? Is it like your bank is keeping the full history, whatever the previous events we have made, or is it just like a bank is storing the current state of your account? So let me tell you. Basically, first we'll discuss about the traditional based approach. What I mean by traditional based approach is that the based approach. So, in the state based approach, what happens is a direct state mutation happens. What I mean by that? So, let's say that you wanted to update, like for example, you withdraw some amount from your account. Let's say you had 10,000 rupees, or you can say that yeah, you can have a 10,000 rupees and you withdraw 500 rupees, right? So, now your account will be updated with withdrawn 500 rupees, but the current balance will be 9,500, correct? So what will happen? In the state-based approach, there will be a query ran. Update account set balance is equal to 9,500, where account ID is equal to 123, correct? But what if there was some mistake? Like instead of updating it to 9,500, instead of updating to 9,500, you made it to 950. So you don't have the history, what was the previous balance. And once the balance is updated using this query, you can't roll back to the older transaction because it is already updated and committed into your database. How will a particular user get to know that no, previous it was 10,000 and I withdraw 500 and there was some issue, because of that 950 is updated and it should be 9,500? Just think about it. So for this, the solution came as event sourcing. Now just imagine the same scenario using the events. So let's say we made a withdrawal of 500. So what will happen is that first some event will trigger. So what will happen is that some event will get triggered. Some event will get triggered. Now let me take this text only. Okay. Now second will be, once that event withdrawal is get triggered, second will be like updating your account balance. So once you withdraw it, your account balance is updated, right? Now let's say there was some error in updation. So you withdraw 500, but your account got updated with, instead of 9,500, it got updated to 9,050, correct? So instead of updating to 9,500, it got updated to 950. So now you will issue a correction event. You will issue this event. Now, what will this event do? This event will go to your correct account balance and see previous balance. The first event, that withdrawal event got triggered, it was already there, right? It was already there. Let me add this here only. Withdrawal event, which was occurred at 10,000 and you withdraw 500, right? So you have already had this event stored, and you know withdrawal, you already had this event stored, and you already know that your balance was 10,000 rupees and you withdraw 500 rupees. So we have already this log history stored there. Now what we are doing is, once we saw that there was some issue, and instead of updating it to 9,500, we wrongly updated to 950, we will issue a correction event. And what will correction event do? It will go to this withdrawal event, check what is happening, what has happened there. The account balance was 10,000, but the withdrawal did 500 and the account should be updated with 9,500, and it didn't happen. So correction event will update it with the correct event. So here you see that we can roll back to the previous event, or we can anytime reconstruct the balance at any point of time. What was the balance after before two transactions, right? So this is what the point I'm trying to make here. So reconstruct the balance at any point in time. Audit all transactions. Debug issues by replaying the event. So if any issues occur, you can go back to the previous transaction and see what event had occurred and what was the current balance. Correct? So It also helps to understand the user behavior. So how many transactions he has made previously, what all amount he has withdrawn, what all amount he has deposited, how he is behaving like in the current account. So this could be used to give any offers also in account. So this person is using withdrawing like a lot of money from his account or depositing a lot of money from his account. So we can give some credit cards offer on his account. So this can be also made a check on his account if we have this all previous event data, correct? Now let's go to the new slide. Now instead of storing just the latest state, event sourcing stores a timeline of event that led to the current state. That is what I told you in the previous slide. Now let's see money deposited. Let's say we deposited 1,000 rupees. So there will be a event occurred, money deposited. Then we wanted to withdraw some amount, let's say 500. So once we withdrawn 500, let's say the balance was 500. The balance, that current balance that would have been, would be now 500, correct? But instead of that, it would have been like 300, right? So we wanted to make a deposit correction, correct? Let's say we wanted to make some correction, right? Let's say we wanted to change it to 500 back, right? So we make a deposit correction. So you can see that current balance is derived by replaying this event. So one by one, these events will get triggered, and the current balance could have been derived from this last event that have been played, right? And at any time, you can roll back to the previous events, correct? So let's go to the new slide. New slide is like I'm explaining you what happens in any banking system. This is a simple flow chart that I'm showing you here. So let's say there's a user. What a user does, user deposits 1,000 rupees to his banking app. He goes to the banking app and deposit 1,000 rupees. What will happen? Your banking app will issue a query, says create deposit money command to the command handler. What will command handler do? It will try to validate the command, whether that command is correct or not. If it is not correct, then it will give you some errors. And if it is correct that you are correctly depositing the money, it will try to create a money deposited event, which will get stored in the event store. Then what will happen? Event store will notify the event processor. So whatever the event processor you have created, this event will get notified to the event processor. You can say that ki, let's say we have issued multiple events, so there will be a queue, right? So, and we will be keep inserting that event into the queue, and one by one the event will get processing. Once that event is processed, the new account balance is updated. So this is basically the flow chart that happens in any payment transaction, simple payment transaction that you are doing, right? And once that it is updated into the read model, you can return the updated balance directly to the banking app, which can be seen by any user. And not any user, you only you can see, correct? So in this slide also, I'm just explaining you the same steps that I showed you earlier. So what does command handler does? Command handler verifies the deposit is valid and follows business rules. For example, if there is any state conditions that let's say we are withdrawing some money, right? But your account does not have that much of money. So will a withdraw query executed? No. Command handler will reject it. That's saying that your account doesn't have that much of balance. Correct. So this is a simple flowchart that I explained you. Now let's dive into the Eclipse and I show you how we can create a simple event sourcing we can do using Java Oops. So let's dive into the Eclipse. Now let me open this class. So the first class is event.java. So what does an event will have? An event ID and a timestamp. What does the timestamp will do? At what time was that event created and what was the unique ID associated to it? So that at any point of time we can index our database through this UID and check that what was the event occurred and what events we wanted to check. Correct? Now, what we are having is that we have an event store. What will event store do? Let's say we have a money deposited event and money withdrawn event. So for any particular user, there will be an event store. And what it will do, it will store all the events related to that user. Let's say I've created this money deposit event. What I'm doing here, I'm just updating the amount and depositing the amount to my account. Correct? And then there's a withdrawn event. What I'm doing, I'm withdrawing some amount from my account. Correct? Now, there is a bank account for me. So in bank account, once I make a deposit event, this deposit will get called. And what will happen? My balance will get updated. And if it is a withdraw, then my balance will be deducted, correct? Some amount will be deducted from my balance, correct? So let's see what happens in the event sourcing. What I have done is I have created a event here. You see that I've created a money deposit event, money withdrawn event, and money deposit event, right? So what will happen? I've created all these events, I've added it to the event store. Event store, if I go, in the add event. So in this events I've had it. And what is this event? It is a list of events only, this event class that I have created. So each event is basically the event ID and the timestamp. And the apply method, what was that apply method doing? If I go here, it was trying to perform the functionality. So this event, if you see, apply method will perform the functionality on this account, whether it is to deposit money, whether it is to withdraw money. Correct? So let's go to this event sourcing demo class back. Now if you see, I've created an object to just reconstruct account state from the event. So whatever the events that have been recorded, I wanted to reconstruct the account state from those events for my bank account. So what I will do, I will just go to this account and will run this method called apply balance. If I go to this bank account, you see that I have this method called apply balance. What it is doing, it is just going to that event class. I've created a list in the event store, I guess. Yeah, in the event store, I've created this list, right? So the same thing, I'm iterating over the list of this event store, and I'm going to this event, use money to deposit event one by one. And then what I'm doing is I'm applying those events. So if I go back to this bank account, you will see that clearly. So I'm iterating over all the events. So first was money deposit event, right? So object was passed here, and you see that that money deposit event dot apply was triggered here. What is money deposit event doing? See, in apply, your account dot deposit amount. Let's say you deposited 1,000 rupees. What amount was that? 1,000 rupees, correct? So, money deposit, what will do is, money deposit event will do is that it will apply this 1,000 rupees deposit on your account. So this is what it is doing. And same is happening in the withdrawn event. So it is trying to withdraw some amount from your account, correct? And then I'm printing the final balance. So if I run this, let me run this. See, the final balance is 1,300. What I did, 1,000 was first triggered, then 200 was triggered, and then 500 was triggered, right? So these three events were already added in the event store, and one by one, these events started getting triggered. And at any point of time, we can reconstruct these events again. So if I wanted to see what was the previous, at this point of time, what was the a balance. So I can go to this apply event. I can just check what was the state of my account one event before. So I can just iterate over this event store and just check that, correct? So this was a simple oops program to just see how event sourcing works. So if you have, let's say I wanted to end this video with a simple question, that is, if your favorite app used event sourcing, what events do you think it would store? So if you have answers to this question, just comment it in the below, and don't forget to motivate me by doing like, subscribe, and share.